I talk to business owners every week who say some version of the same thing. I know I should be doing more. I just don't know what that looks like. And the honest answer is, the answer changes depending on where you are. The right tax strategy for someone who is making $150,000 is not the same as the right strategy for someone making $700,000, but they're connected. They're stages of the same ladder. In this video, I'm going to map out that ladder, 3 stages, what each one looks like, what it costs, what it saves, and how you know when it's time to move up. Quick disclaimer. This is educational only. These are general frameworks, not personalized advice. Your actual numbers depend on your income, business structure, and your specific situation. Always work with your CPA and financial advisor. Stage 1 is where most solo business owners start, or where they should start. The individual 401k, also called the solo 401k. In 2026, combining employee and employer contributions, you can get up to $72,000 depending on your income. If you're 50 or older, add another $8,000 catch-up contributions. This is your first real tax deferral move. And for a lot of business owners, consultants, freelancers, small practice owners, it's the right tool for several years. Who this is for: solo operators and spouse-only businesses, people in the 20 to 25% tax bracket, anyone who's currently in a SEP or simple and hasn't compared the numbers. At $150,000 in income, the individual 401k could potentially let you defer $72,000 per year. At a 20% combined rate, that's over $14,000 back in your pocket or growing tax deferred instead of going to the IRS. Now, here's where most people stay too long. You're comfortable with the solo 401k. You're maxing it out. You feel like you're doing the right thing, and you are for stage 1. But if your income has grown past $400,000 or $500,000, and you're still only running a solo 401k, you're leaving a significant amount of deferral on the table. That's when it's time to look at stage 2. Stage 2 is where we really start to do some cool stuff. You've maxed out your individual 401k, but your income is in the $400,000 to $700,000 range. You're in the 30% plus tax bracket, maybe higher when you factor in state taxes. Here in Georgia, that max combined rate can be around 43%. So every dollar you can defer legally is a real meaningful save. This is where we layer in a cash balance plan on top of the 401k. Cash balance plan is a type of defined benefit retirement plan. Think of it like a pension for business owners, but you design it, and the contributions are much higher than any 401k. Depending on your age, at 45, around $178,000 per year, 50, around $220,000 per year. At 55, $270,000 per year. At 60, around $320,000 per year. Layer that on top of your 401k, and you could be deferring $200,000 to $400,000 per year. I had a client who layered a cash balance plan on top of their 401k profit sharing plan. They were able to defer over $350,000 in taxable income annually. That's roughly $150,000 in actual tax savings every year at their combined rate. They did that for 5 years before selling their business. That's potentially $750,000 in tax savings over that window. Money that grew tax deferred instead of going to the IRS. Now, cash balance plans aren't cheap to administer. There are actuarial fees and compliance costs, and you need to be able to fund them consistently for at least 3 to 5 years. But for the right business owner, the savings far outweigh the costs. Stage 3 is where we're talking about $300,000 to $700,000 in annual deferral and full coordination across your entity structures, retirement plans, legal planning, estate strategy. This is where the real money is, but also where the real complexity is. At this level, we're looking at things like entity structure and management companies, using a holding company or management company to shift income between entities in a tax-efficient way, qualified small business stock. If you're setting up a new company with an eye toward selling, structuring it as a C Corp for QSBS treatment can potentially exclude millions in capital gains at exit, as we talked about in an earlier video. Charitable strategies, donor-advised funds, charitable remainder trusts. If you're already philanthropically inclined, these can reduce taxable income while supporting causes you care about. Advanced estate planning, coordinating how your business ownership interacts with your estate plan, trusts, gifting strategies, freezing techniques, so that your business growth happens outside of your taxable estate. Here's the thing about stage 3. None of these strategies work in isolation. The entity structure affects the retirement plan options, the retirement plan affects the estate plan affects the exit strategy. This is why coordination isn't just a nice to have at stage 3. It's essential. So How do you know where you are on the ladder? Here's a rough framework. Not a hard rule, just a starting point. Stage 1, you're in the $100,000 to $400,000 net income range. You're building. The individual 401k plan gets you most of what you need. Stage 2, you're in the $400,000 to $800,000 range. You've maxed the 401k, and you're still writing a big tax check. This is where a cash balance plan conversation makes sense. Stage 3, you're above $800,000 to $1 million, and you want full coordination. Not just retirement plans, but entity strategy, estate planning, and exit preparation working together. Most business owners don't know which stage they're in, or they're operating the stage 1 strategies at the stage 3 income levels. That's not a knock on anyone, it's a knock on the system. Most advisors are only comfortable with one stage. They don't show you the ladder. Here's the bottom line. You've worked hard to build your business. The tax code actually has tools at every income level to help you keep more of what you earn, but you have to know the ladder exists. And you have to have advisors who can see the whole thing, not just the rung that they're comfortable with. If you're in stage 1 and haven't set up your individual 401k yet, that's the video before this one. Watch it first. If you're in stage 2 and you want to understand cash balance plans more deeply, we've got a full video on that too. Subscribe for more content on tax strategy and wealth planning for business owners. This is educational only, not personalized advice. Your situation is unique. Work with your CPA and financial advisor to figure out where you are and what makes sense for your specific income and business structure. Thanks for watching.